I believe that most of us live a life of quiet desperation. I believe that quote is true. And we live our lives in quiet desperation because we're reacting to all the outside circumstances. We're reacting to things that are not within our control. Most things outside of you, you can't control. You can't. And how much worse does our life get when we try to control what is not controllable? Let me tell you the 3 things that are within your control. That's your mind, body, and soul. That's your inner man, your inner spirit. So no matter how bad things are on the outside, don't ever let it affect what goes on the inside. And this is a practice, man. This is not something that's just like a light switch. And you're like, okay, I can do it now. No, because you're going to get tested. You're going to be stretched. There are going to be times when you begin to focus on the inside of you, your mind, body, and soul. It seems like everything on the outside gets worse and worse and worse. The most powerful thing that you have and must be reminded of at this time is inside of you, is within your control. And it is important that your actions, that everything that you do today, feed your mind, body, and soul. I think we forget about this. And we swing wildly at life, trying to force circumstances to go in our favor. And when they don't go in our favor, we numb ourselves with alcohol, with food, with toxic environments, and the situation gets worse and worse and worse. I know it feels like at times that you're riding a runaway horse and like you have no control over the reins. You may not be able to steer that horse, but you can control how you ride it. And that's your mind, body, and soul. So even when it looks like that you're going to go off the cliff, you're not. Just don't react to it. And I learned this firsthand in my life, man. Years ago, I was in a toxic relationship, toxic environment, violent, in fact. And there were times where I was baited. There were times where situations arose to see if I would react. But it was something, thankfully, within that during that time, I switched from the outside and reacting to everything on the outside to switched within. And so what are the 3 things I can control? And that's my mind, body, and soul. And I began to feed just those things that were within my control. And it's funny, man, when I did that, it seemed like everything else got worse on the outside. Everything on the outside was crumbling. Everything on the inside was fortifying. How ironic that is in life. I was demoted. I was living out of my truck. Everything that I owned was in the backseat of my truck. I had to take a shower at the gym. And I parked way away in the parking lot so nobody would see that I was living out of my truck. I didn't want anybody to know. And I showed up for work. I was in a leadership position and nobody knew what was going on. The only thing I had control over, and dude, I stumbled upon this. I was adamant about not letting my mind drift off. I was adamant about not letting my health go awry. Because I knew nothing stays the same. I just figured that if I do the right things within, everything on the outside will eventually line up. And it did. But you got to stay the course, man. And so many times we let the outside influence the inside. And so things look really bad. Things look really toxic. Things look hopeless. And we release the few things that are within our control. And that's your mind, body, and soul. So when all hell was breaking loose, I was adamant about working out every single day. If anything, man, it was the thing that just reduced the stress so I didn't have to think about how bad things were, how broke I was. Mentally, physically, financially, broke. Spiritually, broke. I just worked out. I read every single day. I didn't have enough money to buy a book, so I got a library card and began to check out books. And then I began to write. And a lot of what I wrote about were passages from books because I didn't know how I was supposed to think. I didn't know what I was supposed to think. So I had to borrow someone else's mindset, borrow someone else's voice until I could find my own. I didn't let go of those three things. And there were days, man, I was barely holding on. There were days I just wanted to end it all. Not that I wanted to quit. It was just I didn't want to hurt anymore. And I wanted to just release the reins and be like, I give up. But I just said, work out, read, write, go to work. Boom, boom, boom. I wasn't in control of the results. I was only in control of what I did that would put me at least in position to eventually bring me better results, to eventually bring me light into my life. So instead of living your life in quiet desperation, I think you should live your life in quiet perspiration and do the work within. Do the work that is in alignment, that puts you in position for favorable results. And anything that violates that, you don't feed into it. You don't play a part in it. It's going to try to lure you. It's going to try to get you to react. It's going to try to bait you. And there are going to be times, man, where you almost want to reach for it. Don't. What feeds my mind, body, and soul in the right way that will bring me favorable results? This is an inner strength, man. And you'll get better with time, with repetition. And don't worry about the results. Lately, I've been talking to you about that. Don't worry about the results. Worry about the effort. Worry about the system that you're following. What are things that are within your control? So if you find yourself in a tough situation right now, it may be dark in your life. It may look hopeless. It may look like there's no end. It may look toxic. Don't look outside. Look inside. It's yours. It's precious. It belongs to you. You control that, and everything on the outside will eventually line up for you. And ultimately, you're going to be okay. All right? Keep it simple. Keep it moving. Never settle. Stay tough. Peace.